Okay.
So I was recording a video about Double or Nothing about days ago. Days ago I was recording and I thought I finished that entire thing and then I was gonna put it up on YouTube. What I didn't realize when I look back on that, the fucking camera got frozen. And it went all dark like the like the end portion of my video. Like it got dark and it had no sound for some reason. So here we are again, try to record this fucking thing again. This is my AEW Double or Nothing 2022 review. And hopefully this doesn't go as long as the length of the show. I really hope, I really hope it doesn't because, I really enjoyed the show. For what it's worth, I thought it was a good show. Like, the last time I talked about All Elite Wrestling, many balloons ago was All Out 2021, which to me was probably the best AEW pay-per-view that they ever produced to this day. And while Double or Nothing wasn't even as good as Full Gear and Revolution, the previous ones, it still was enjoyable. So, despite the agonizing length of the show, there's some matches here that could have been cut completely from the show. Like 100% complete. Like I'll get through some of the matches here because I don't really want to go for that long. It's probably gonna be, but hopefully not as the length of the 80 of the Double or Nothing show that literally just happened. The as of this recording, as you probably watched this video, as of 2 weeks ago. So yeah, so the pre-show started with in the as Hook and Danhausen, called as Hookhausen, defeated against Tony Nese and Monster. And it was a settable match. It was just there as a buy-in to hype the crowd up before the main show. It was fine. Hook Helson though extremely over, and low key I pretty like Danhausen's music. I kind of catchy a little. So yeah, Hookhausen got the win, as we kind of knew they would. So yeah. The main show started with probably the most interesting match, and is Warlow against Maxwell Jacob Freeman. MJ fucking F, man. I will go more into him in my next video, so stay tuned for that. Hopefully. So, but for context of what happened the day before the show happened, was MJF was supposed to do a meet and greet at a fan fest at the Double or Nothing fan fest the day before, and for some reason he was in Las Vegas, but he wasn't on it. Instead, played. I think he played a casino that day instead of showing up. And there were rumors that he wasn't even going to show up on from the show. there was some just consent that he wasn't even going to be on the show, and yeah, so I can't imagine what that backstage atmosphere had to be look like. Thinking of if MJ is gonna show up or not, but he did, albeit shoulder like probably 1 2 hours before the show started. He probably showed arrived there in that building in Las Vegas, and he came out and I do kind of laugh when he mocked the airplane taunt on in the ring while he made his entrance. You can kind of tell like he really wasn't into this match as we all thought he would, which is kind of a shame for, and which is kind of shame because this really is pretty much the best storyline they have for this show coming in. MJF versus Warlord. I mean, this had like 2 years of build up of MJ of Warlord from when he was hired as MJ's bodyguard. Excuse me. Like MJ's punchy, right? And then over time he started to feel aggro, but MJ just won't refuse him to let him out of it. So he and Warlord took matters in his own hands during the end of the MJF CM Punk during that Dark Color match, and then it built over for this. And while this wasn't much of a match, like it really wasn't. The booking wise, it was almost as perfect as it could have been. Like this is what we were waiting for, to Warlord to finally get his hands on the man who has been torturing him in the weeks leading up to this. And credit to MJF, he kind of made Warlord look a million bucks. Like he took 10 power bombs. But he took 10 power bombs for Warlord. Like, well, this wasn't much of a match. The booking was exactly what it should have been. And it made for a great moment when MJF got the ring and per the stipulation of the match. He's now officially part of the All Elite Wrestling roster on his own. And yeah, and it would have been a shame if MJ kind of did Warlord dirty if he didn't do the match, but I'm glad he did. Glad he did. And yeah, Warlord is probably one of the hottest guys in AEW right now. Like he's probably like for the shirt, kind of he should like his fire should increase from this now. So yeah. And you gotta give it to MJF. Like he somehow made it turn it into the most interesting guy in all of wrestling. And like I said, I will have more on him in my next video, hopefully. So yeah, the next match is the Young Bucks versus the Hardy Boys. It was fine. It wasn't as good as the tag team ladder match they had at the Ring of Honor show at WrestleMania Weekend 2017. It wasn't as good as that as the Hardys, more so Jeff. Like you can tell he was out of it for most parts of the match. Like, and it's like it's kind of sad to see him in the state of mind like this, but like that's kind of to be expected after all the bumps and bruises Jeff has taken all over the years with the ladder matches, table matches. Like he probably should tone down a bit in AEW, but like you can kind of tell he's kind of out of it in the ring. But the Young Bucks did make it carry and made it into somewhat a decent match. Hope so. Jeff Hardy actually hit someone with a swanton on the steel steps, and the Hardys pick up the win, and Jeff randomly, like he did in his in his final match with the company, where he aced it through the crowd. And but he kind of walked around. It's like kind of look weird. Like I don't know, but yeah, the Hardy wins it is in this battle with the Young, which was the East Tiger. TBS Championship. Jay Cargill defending against Anna Jay. There was most of the match, and the parts that I saw were not good at all. Like, this could have been like a go home show to like Dynamite Rampage. I don't think it needed to be specifically on this show. Like, if it wasn't good, I'm sorry. Like, Jay Koga's like she's getting up. She's you can see some good, but she still have kind of long ways to me as a wrestler. And I don't think Anna Jay was like a plausible serviceable opponent to carry Jay in the ring. So the match was mostly bad, but what happened afterward was entertaining with some AEW debuts for Stokely Hartway, who is now the manager, the mouthpiece of kinda of Jay Cargill, which I can tell for the period that they're gonna fit like a glove in this scenario. I think Saint Sto- Stokely Hathaway is a great fit. It's a great fit pairing for Jay Cargill. So I'm really stoked about this pairing. And we got another debut of Athena, the former Ember Moon in NXT. It's a cool moment. Like, I don't know about it. I know the men's roster AEW is pretty kind of bloated if you think about it. But I don't know about the women's. So it's a good addition, I guess, to the women's roster. So yeah. The next match is the trios match. The House of Black versus the Death Triangle. The House of Black is Malachi Black, Brody King, and Buddy Matthews against the Death Triangle. Pac, Ray Phoenix, and Penta is what Penta Oscuro or something. So yeah, this was great. This was really great. Like, I really wish they should have given more build time. Since I think they only had like short resources to build up this match, and most of it they didn't give enough time. But this match was really damn good, and it really showed how a trios championship could be brought into use, and kind of that's to demonstrate how great of the trio championship will be in those matches like this, because their match was great, and they had a pretty cool finish with Julia Hart joining the House of Black. It's kind of what they've been building towards on TV, so it's nice to see a payoff for this. From this very really good match, I hope this will give him more time, and yeah, I hope they get more singles pushed out of some of the things. I mean, most of the people in this match could be like legit stars in the company. So yeah. I think the next two matches were the Owen Hart Cup tournament finals for both the men and the women side of things. So the starter with the men, Adam Cole versus Samoa Joe. was okay. He was kind of there. I don't think I don't think this wasn't really good. Like I don't think like with Joe Echo have the side like of the slide of like great chemistry like I thought they would. It wasn't bad, but it was alright. It was average at best. Kind of the same with the women's match. Although it was slightly better than the men's, but I don't know about it. But it wasn't really good between Ruby Soho and Britt Baker. Those two had really nice entrances with the faucet guitarist playing the music for Britt Baker and Ron Sid putting the band for Ruby Soho entering. That was cool. So the match was okay. It was decent between Britt Baker and Ruby Soho. I don't think it was as good as their match with in Grand Slam at Authorized Stadium when Britt Baker was the champion, but it was still alright. It was plausible. And your Owen Hart Cup winners were Adam Cole and Britt Baker. You know, as soon as they say that both of the winners will have the ceremony thing in that podium, I just knew that Adam that when they told that during when Adam Cole won, I knew for the start Bray Breaker was winning. Like there was no way in my mind I thought they were gonna go with Adam Cole, but someone else winning. In this, it would have been rude, but yeah. But it's like Adam Cole is a fine choice to win, as he kind of needed something. Saying he lost two big matches to Heyman Page for the world title, so he kind of needed something. On the other hand, Brie Breaker kind of did not. Like this girl was like woman champ for like almost a year, so she pretty as made of a shot as she's going to be now. So her reign, so she didn't really need the victory as Ruby could have used it a bit more. I mean, it's a fine choices for like them to win. Even weirder that both cut, but like I get why they did it, but it's like I kind of wish Ruby would have won here, but I get why they did it. They didn't go with Ruby, so they got the whole power couple winning both tournaments. So yeah. And then Martha Hart speech was fine. It was good, and I really appreciate that AEW gave over her some legacy and some a bit closer to something who probably never saw Owen when he was wrestling in his prime. So they gave me some closer, some highlights from his career, I like that they put some exposure and some big closure to Owen Hart here, and to kind of to Martha here. So yeah, it was cool to see. What was not cool to see was the six-person tag match. I believe it was Paige Vincent, Scorpio Sky Interface against Frankie Kazarian, Ty Conte, and Sammy Guevara. Then I watched the match. And from the looks of it, I made the right decision because holy fuck, this was the drizzling shit. Like what the hell? Like you wanna talk about matches that didn't need to be on the show? This was one of them. Like don't get me started on the bill. Oh my god, like the American top team of Scorpio Sky, Interface, and then they were supposed to be heels, but like Sammy Guevara and Ty Contact are acting like full blown heels. Like were we supposed to cheer on this? And then you throw Kazarian and it's like it messed up the whole story. And for me, it's like with this Sammy Ty Contact Perry, like it seems like AEW didn't really commit fully to this. And it's like either commit to this Perry as a full blown heel or just split them off on screen and try something else because this shit has to work on and improve on the match. Like damn, like this did not be on the show. Like damn. Like America Top Team won, which apparently according to stipulation, Sammy Guevara and Frankie Kazarian won't get another TNT title match. Which, thank God, because holy fuck, this storyline did no fucking favor for this match and this fucking show. Kyle O'Reilly versus Darby Allin was a fine match, but like again, it didn't need to be on the show. Like the crowd didn't care, and God bless those Las Vegas crowd. Like they were kinda into pretty much almost the whole damn show, despite the length. If this would have been any other city like New York, Chicago, Boston, Philadelphia, like whatever word next you want to say, if this happened in any other city, those crowd would have been. But luckily for those Las Vegas fans, they were pretty much into almost the show. But for this, they were pretty quiet and kind of shocked because this really didn't have much of a bill. Like it was fine, but this could have been saved. Like the 6-person tag could have been saved for like the go home show. This match could have been easily been after like the Dynamite Rampage after Double or Nothing. It didn't need to be on here. It was a fine match. Kyle O'Reilly won, which is surprising to me since seems like AEW is high O'Reilly rather mostly than other people are. Like I find you want to give him a singles with, but like you're kind of calling off Darby Allin. I don't know why, but don't really quite like it. So you can see like the middle portion of this show is kind of rough. Thankfully, kind of picked it up in these final matches here. Thunder Rosa defending her AEW Women's Championship against Serena Deeb. Really good match. This really mostly starting to rile some fans up during the arena. Well, this really had much of the bit and most of it was pretty rough at times. This was a really good match and both two are really damn good wrestlers. And I hope with more consistent booking and story with Thunder Rosa as women's champion that she could have a successful win. Like her current reign is like not successful because she really hasn't been on TV that much since she won the title like 2 or 3 months ago. So yeah, but she had a really good showing as women's champion in this match, and Serena Deeb was really a great opponent for Thunder Rosa. She's a really good wrestler in her part. So this was a really good match. Thunder Rosa retained the AEW Women's Championship. The next was probably my favorite match of the night. Anarchy in the Arena. Jericho Appreciation Society against the Black Combat Club. Centennial Ortiz and Eddie Kingston. Coming in, I didn't know what to expect. Like the Jericho Appreciation Society, it's kind of cool, but it's kind of a rehash of what we saw the inner circle. Every much weaker people on it. I mean, like, like Jericho Appreciation Society like has like 2.0 and like Daniel Garcia, which are kind of like make artists at this point. So like yeah, well, it's kind of entertaining. It's it's a pretty much a rehab what they did with the inner circle with a much weaker lineup, I must say. So I didn't know what to expect much out of this match. And holy fuck, they got me in the fight for minutes when they were playing while the brawl was happening throughout the crowd. Like it had a feeling of like what you would see like some movie will have these fights with the music in the background. It kind of felt like you will see in the movie and you will see two guys be out in the street with the music background. It kind of had also with the ECW feeling with some wrestlers usually like New Jack, God rest his soul, where New Jack would beat up the people with stuff while the music was playing in the background. Great stuff, and this was great stuff here. And Jericho pulling the cut off the music, cut off the music, that was a funny moment. And also that the craziness, like this was pretty much one of the wildest street matches I have ever seen. And I was ton of street fights, no spot matches, but this was one of the most wildest one I have ever seen. This was pure anarchy as they advertised. We got crazy spots here. Eddie Kingston, the shot with Eddie Kingston coming out with blood all over his face and the shirt kind of pulling red was tremendous stuff. The ending with Jericho holding the loss of Jericho and Danielson and Jake Hager choking on Brian. Justin Rollins must be proud of that. But he was choking and Daniel and Brian Danielson passed out. Jericho Appreciation Society won the match, which I kind of knew they would since they're the newly still fashion. And this gives them an excuse to do the blood and guts match, which they will. So yeah, really intense match, really viable. And I think it kind of was exactly what it needed to be. So tremendous stuff. The tag team triple threat championship, the tag team title triple threat match between Jurassic Express defending against Ricky Starks and Haas from Team Taz against Keith Lee and Serge Strickland. I think that's his name. So yeah, it was a good match, but I think at that point I wanted to go to bed with this length of the show. I just, yeah, it was. I kinda like I enjoyed the match, but I kinda with the length of the show, I just wanted to go to bed by that point. So yeah, the Jurassic Express retain against Kitty Sears and Serge Stickler and Team Taz for the win. In a good match. Then what became was the main event finally at 12 freaking a.m. by that point. Oh god, the AEW World Championship. CM Punk against the champion Hangman Adam Page. The only thing, well, the one thing I will say is, Phil, never do the buckshot area ever again. Like that shit was embarrassing to watch in that spot in the match. Like you can tell he was kind of frustrated that he couldn't hit it right. And I think the commentator did make a good job explaining why he didn't connect the move perfectly. So yeah, but that was pretty much embarrassing. Okay, out of that embarrassing, this was still a good match. It had the sense of a really big fight feel. I think Pac now in the ring, probably this one in AEW. I think this is the most I enjoy of him, of his. I think I enjoyed this run of Punk as I ever, pretty much even like a decade ago in WWE. I think like he has been working smallly and has had some really bangers in AEW since coming in late last summer. And Heyman Page, while he didn't feel like the biggest guy in the biggest star in the company, as was said, I don't think the presentation of him did wonders for him. Like it didn't make any favors for him. He had some pretty bangers on his own as the world champion. Heyman Page did, and they had a really good match. And the finish saw with Heyman try play pass and wonder if he's gonna hit the AEW World title on Pump, but he refused it. But that ends up backfiring him as it cost him everything. As Simple hit the GTS 1 through 3. Simple's the new AEW World Champion. Crowds go crazy, and yeah, it's pretty surreal considering if you told me this a year ago or like 5 years ago that CM Punk will like be a world champion major promotion in 2022, I would call you crazy. But stranger thing has happened recently. Look at where we are now. Punk is the world champion. I will talk about more in the MJF video coming up, hopefully. So yeah, Punk's the AEW World Champion, a really good match, and that's the show. And the show was good. It was enjoyable. The length of the show pretty much hindered the show, for my opinion. Like they could have cut out 3 matches, and the show's enjoyment would probably upgrade a little bit more. As it was just good. It was solid. It wasn't as good as other previous AEW shows, but this was still a good pay-per-view. So finally, there's my Double or Nothing review. So my rating of the show will be down in the description box. Like this video, subscribe to my channel. Tell me what you think about Double or Nothing in the comment section below. And as always, I'm Jason Maynes, and I approve this message.